Hello, hello, hello. This is Adelai Brown, your heart realtor, and I want to welcome you to another one of our monthly lunch and learns. This is our monthly road to approval lunch and learn, and this is where we come together to learn about the home buying process. We are very intentional about growing heart equity over here, and we define heart equity as personal, relational, and financial wealth that we obtain through authentic living. I do believe that one of the ways that we grow wealth is via real estate. And that's one of the ways that I grow heart equity. So I'm so excited to be here with you. I've been a licensed real estate agent for over 6 years now, been in the real estate industry for over 15 years, and I just really have committed my life and my time to, like I mentioned, doing hard work and growing hard equity. And because real estate and our homes are such a big part of our everyday lives, I believe that every heart does deserve a home. So every month we come together and do these lunch and learns because I want to demystify the home buying process for you. If you are a first-time home buyer, maybe you're buying again, you haven't purchased in a while, or maybe you just want more information about home ownership, the buying process, and everything that you will need to go through this process. So today, we're talking about this is week 7 or step 7, shall I say, in the home buying process, and we're talking about appraisals and insurance. Okay, so we're talking about today's topic is appraisals and insurance. And the Road to Approval Lunch and Learn is a part of our Residence Ownership Initiative, our ROI. And this is an initiative that we have embarked on in our company, and it's a part of our mission to help residents in every area obtain the homes that their heart desires, right? So, in order to do that, I do believe that when we have the right information, the right education, we can make the best decisions. So, we come together once a month, we enjoy lunch together, and we just go through a different step of the home buying process. Our road to approval process is a 10-step process. So, this month, we're talking about step number 7. A little about me. I am your Heart Homes agent. I'm the heart coach with 15 plus years of real estate experience. I am a heart work practitioner, and my foundational focus is to grow and develop emotional intelligence for individuals, families, and organizations. I am a realtor that guides professionals from renting to ownership, regardless of where they are in that process. Whether you're a first-time owner, you're someone looking to sell your property, you're wanting to invest or increase your portfolio, I'm here to support you throughout that process. And my mission is simple. Every heart deserves a home, and I believe that there's a home for every heart. So I'm so thankful that you're here today so that we can learn and grow through this process together. So let's do a quick little recap of where we've been in the process and where we are going. So step 1 in our home buying process is you want to secure the right realtor. We like to say here, you want to get you a prospective living realtor, a realtor who is focused on making sure that you make your next move your best move and really have you and your needs at the forefront of their focus when they're working with you. A lot of agents don't. Many agents have their own agendas, their own bottom line they're trying to meet, and we want you to work with agents who really care about you. They'll get to their bottom line, but we want to make sure we take care of our clients because we're like family. We're homies, we're neighbors, and we want to make sure we take care of one another. Um, Step two in the process is budgeting and goal setting. You want to make sure that you budgeted, you prepared, you have your goals in place, and you know what you're working towards. When you know where you're going, you're more likely to get there. You want to make sure that you have an idea of what type of home you want, where you want to live, about how much you want to spend on a mortgage. And when you have that in mind, it makes your home purchasing process a lot less complicated. The third step in the process is getting approved. That's what we talk about getting with the lender, whether it's a bank, a credit union, a mortgage company, a private lender. But we work with you on ways that you can get approved and get the necessary funding and financing that you need to purchase a home. Step four, after you get approved, we take your approval letter, your pre-qualification letter, and we start shopping. That's usually the most exciting part for most who are purchasing a home. And that's when you go out, you start looking at homes and touring different neighborhoods, different communities, and just kind of getting a feel of where you want to live. And you pick that home that you decide that you want to make the home for your heart. Step five is where we offer, where we work on your offer and your negotiations. That's a big part of the process. This is where you and your realtor needs to work together to make sure that you're getting what you need in the deal, that you're getting a home purchasing on terms that work well for you and your life, with your financial landscape, with your family and the dynamics of your family. You want to make sure that your offer is negotiated in a way where you feel like your needs were met and were addressed and met as much as possible. After your offer is accepted, that's when we have the due diligence process. This is your time to do your inspections and you do the research that you need to do to make sure that you want to move forward with purchasing that said property that you have chosen to move forward and submit an offer on. And now you want to make the necessary investments in doing the research, which we call the due diligence, to make sure that this home has what you want it to have. You know, you find out what's going on with all of the major systems in the home, the roof, the HVAC, the plumbing, the structure, the electrical, right? And then you also check out the neighborhood, check out your commute to and from work. You're making sure that you can afford the home, that the lender, you're communicating with your lender, making sure that this home is affordable and the terms work with your lending terms with many moving pieces going on during a home buying process, and you want to make sure that you and your agent are on top of everything. And when you work together and you communicate, that's when you can assure that. And now here we are at step seven. This is where we are this month. This is when we're dealing with appraisal and insurance. Typically, um, typically when you're dealing with step six, the due diligence process and the inspection process, the insurance and appraisal come afterwards because many lenders don't order the appraisal until they're sure that you're going to move forward with this offer and purchasing this home. The due diligence time, step six in the home buying process, is usually what we call when you make or break the deal, right? So this is the time that you decide, yes, I'm going to move forward and purchase, or you decide, no, I'm going to walk away and look for something else. So when we get to step seven, appraisals and insurance, this is an additional cost. And it's a big investment, pretty big investment in the home buying process. So you want to make sure that you're getting an appraisal on a home that you want, right? So what is an appraisal? An appraisal is an independent opinion of the home's value. So you have a licensed appraiser, a licensed real estate appraiser, someone who's been trained to evaluate the value of this home. And the typically you get an appraisal when you're financing a home. Now, if you're purchasing the property cash, you can still get an appraisal. You pay for that out of pocket as the buyer. Typically, the buyer is the person that is responsible for the appraiser, not so much the seller. But when you're dealing with a financing company, a bank, a financial, a credit institution, a mortgage company, they want an appraisal on the home. If you put an offer in for $450,000, they want an independent contractor to come out and value that home to make sure it's worth the 450. Because if they find that it's not, then the lender is not going to want to pay 450. The lender will be willing to pay what that contractor, that appraiser states the home is worth, right? So the lender wants to confirm the worth and the purchase price, that the loan makes sense, and that the property meets the lending guidelines. A lot of times, an appraiser will make notes about different repairs or issues that they might see with a home. I remember one time, and it also, when you get an appraisal, where it talks about properties meeting lending guidelines, I think it was step 4 or 5 when well, actually step 3, we talked about getting approved and we talked about the different types of financing. We talked about USDA, FHA, conventional. I encourage you, if you don't remember that, go back and check out that particular lunch and learn that we did step number 3. And depending on the type of financing you have, that will impact the type of appraisal that you'll get. What I mean by that is some appraisals are more strict than others. Some lenders, when you're talking about VA, FHA, conventional USDA, these different types of lenders, dealing with a lender like NACA. For those of you that have ever heard of NACA, when those appraisals are done, these appraisers are, for some of these types of financing, these appraisers will make a notation if they see extreme damage or work that needs to be done to a home. And they'll say, yeah, this home is worth this value with this repair being made. So even when you get an appraisal, that is also another opportunity for the buyer to have the home inspected per se. Now, let me be clear. An appraiser doesn't do inspections, but they are inspecting the property for the value of the home. So if they notice issues with the property that they think will impact the value of the home, many times they will make a note of that on the appraisal. And a lender can see that note and decide this needs to be repaired or not before they will approve the funding and say that they'll pay for that home. So you want to work with a realtor that understands that. When you're out searching for homes, if you're approved for VA, you want a realtor that understands that with VA financing, there are certain guidelines that must be met for that appraisal to be approved for the funding to even go into play. So it's so much more into this process. And this is why you want to make sure that you are working with the agent that cares, working with the agent that's paying attention to the details so that you don't find yourself caught up. You paid for all of these inspections. Now the seller doesn't want to make repairs. And this was an issue before you even put an offer in on the home, right? So a possible appraisal outcomes. Let's look at this. So your appraisal meets the value. So let's say you did an offer for the home and it was 450,000 and the appraiser came out and you got great news. Great. The home approves for 452,000. So it not only appraised, it appraised for $2,000 more than what the buyer is purchasing it for. So in that event, that is great news. The lender will move forward with that part of the process. The appraisal is approved. Everybody's moving forward to closing. If the appraisal comes in higher, like the example I just gave you, that means that buyer is moving into this home with instant equity. So they're purchasing it for 450,000, but at this moment it is approved for 452,000, and so they move in with instant equity. This is rare, but it's possible. I've actually had quite a few clients get appraisals and find out that their home is worth 10,000 more, 15,000 more, 5,000 more, 2,000 more. I've even had 1,000 more than what the purchase price was. Right. So it does happen. I've also had the latter happen. An appraisal comes in lower and that means that, let's say the purchase price is 450,000, but this particular home was appraised at 440,000 or 445,000. So now that realtor and the seller's realtor will get together and look at what were the terms of the loan. Right. Many times in financing, one of the contingencies in the offer, we talked about that a few steps back, would be that this home will be purchased based upon the appraisal, meaning that when you go under contract, the seller and the buyer are agreeing that the home will sell for what it appraises for. So in this case, if the home appraises for 445,000 and we are under contract for 450,000, now the buyer must speak with the seller about approving selling the home at 445,000, because you can't force someone to pay more for a home. A bank is not going to pay more for a home than what it's worth. A mortgage company, a financing company. Sometimes when that happens, so you renegotiate the price, or sometimes when that happens, you have to bring additional funds. When the interest rate was very low, and homes were more affordable, about 4 or 5 years ago, I saw a lot of people bringing additional funds to the deal. Like the home might have been appraising at 445. The seller's like, no, I want 450. And I saw people pay out of pocket that additional 5,000 to get that particular home. And then another option you have, you can challenge the appraisal. Some appraisals aren't correct. And we've seen cases of things like that happening. So you do have options through the appraisal process. It's not just a one and done. But these are just some of the possible outcomes that could come about when you're going through the appraisal process. Another need that you have when you go through the home buying process is homeowners insurance. Now, this is not um, a home warranty, right? And a lot of people get that confused. So you will have a homeowner's warranty, which is a warranty on some of the appliances and some of the systems in the home. Like this is you're paying a certain amount a month and you have access to uh, a service calls, and you will have different professionals that can come out, let's say, and maybe repair your dishwasher or check out your garbage disposal or check out something with your electrical or your HVAC system or with your roof or just different parts of your home. But homeowners insurance is required if you have a mortgage. A home warranty is not required, but homeowners insurance is required if you have a mortgage. Another thing about homeowners insurance is it is paid in your mortgage along with your taxes. It's paid through an escrow account, and you will learn about that as well. So you need homeowners insurance to cover the property, right? It helps protect your home. It protects your finances, your investment. It protects your peace of mind. And again, most lenders require homeowners insurance before closing because they want to make sure that this investment is covered in the event that something happens to it, right? Homeowners insurance is not um, just your insurance for just repair. That leans more into a warranty. But if you have major issues, flooding, major damage in your home, that's where the homeowner's insurance comes in. And you can do more research when it comes to insurance. But in many cases, if you're purchasing a home that is being financed, you will have to have homeowners insurance. I am thankful to say that I do as a realtor. Now I'm also a licensed insurance agent, so I do offer not just real estate services, but work with my clients to offer competitive homeowners insurance rates because homeowners insurance can make or break the affordability of being able to get a home. So you can get all the way through the steps of the process and get to needing homeowners insurance. And if it's depending on your location and how much it costs, I've seen where it slowed down and maybe halted the process of someone being able to purchase a home because they could afford the mortgage, but they couldn't afford the insurance. So when you think about budgeting and goal setting, you want to think about your mortgage, but also include what that homeowner's insurance cost could be. And so when you're shopping around for homeowners insurance, I always encourage my clients to compare more than one price, right? You want to consider the coverage limits, you want to consider the deductibles, you want to consider the replacement cost protection and the customer service and the reputation, right? And like I said, I can help connect you with insurance options and provide quotes to help you compare coverage because it can, like I said, make or break a deal. So when you are looking around for insurance and even for mortgages, you have options, right? Typically, the mortgage company will choose who is the person that is doing the appraisal. A lot of mortgage companies work with independent appraisal companies, and so they will order that to be done. That appraisal is usually done within the last week and a half to 2 weeks of the closing process. Um, Typically the homeowner's insurance quote is obtained and the quote is accepted by the client. The buyer has to accept whatever quote they choose to go with, and that is typically obtained within the last 2 weeks, week and a half of the closing process. So, some questions to ask when it comes to appraisals. Does the value support my purchase? When you get the appraisal, is it valued at the price that you're purchasing it? If it's not, you might want to reevaluate or renegotiate that deal. And what happens if it doesn't? You talk with your agent about what were the terms of the offer that you submitted and what can you do as a result of this appraisal not matching up to your expectations, if that is the case. If it does, you're moving forward, no issues. And that's what we hope for. When we look at insurance, some questions to consider. What risk am I protected from? And is my coverage enough for my family's needs? What I'm seeing and learning as an insurance professional and just being able to better serve my real estate clients with insurance services, many people are underinsured. So you want to make sure that when you do get that coverage, and we know affordability is a big deal for many people, we also want to make sure that it's affordable, but it's also worth your while because we want to make sure it's covering everything that you need covered. So coming up next month is step 8 in the process, and we are at the closing table. The appraisal has come back. We got your insurance. You got the clear to close. Now what? The closing is in sight. We'll discuss the final loan approval, closing disclosure, signing day, getting your keys, and what all goes into that. And I do want to let you know that within the ROI, we offer the Road to Approval Academy. Our Road to Approval Academy is a community where we work with individuals to grow hard equity and to be able to get approved for all of the wealth gaining items that we want in our lives. Remember, wealth just isn't about money, right? We want a life where we can get approved for everything that we want to do. We want to approve ourselves for the homes we want, the investment properties. We want to be able to approve our children if they want to go to college or go travel abroad as they grow up and are young adults. We want to offer options and be able to serve people in our community. But we can't do that if we can't get approved. We can't do that if we don't have access to capital. And many of us don't have that because we are trying to learn isolated and individually. So the Road to Approval Academy is a place for us to come together to learn together. Myself and other real estate and financial experts will teach us in our weekly classes. You have one-on-one intake and exit coaching sessions just to make sure that you're receiving the support and guidance that you need and just gain guidance and clarity on where you are in your financial journey, in your credit journey, and to support you along the way, every step of the way. Because many of us, we're not lacking the information, we are lacking the support and the drive so that we can be able to implement all of the information and the knowledge that we have. So I'd love to sit down and talk with you. Let's get a complimentary discovery session set up so that we can talk about the Road to Approval Academy and helping you get along your journey to approval. So next steps, let's keep building. What I would like to ask you to do is schedule your Heart Homes Discovery Consult, right? Let's get on the phone and let's talk about your next move being your best move and how we can make that happen. It is complimentary. We can get on for about 30, 45 minutes and just talk about what your goals are in real estate and how I might be able to help you. Um, Join the Road to Approval program if you know you want that support, you want that guidance, you want that community. We are here to support you along the way. If you've already been approved, and we talked about that in previous sessions, keep your pre-approval updated. You never know when you might see that home that you want to say yes to, and you want to make sure that you're always in position to buy. And don't be afraid to start looking. Start looking online. Start seeing what's out there. Start finding out what's important to you in home ownership so that you can start to visualize and see yourself in your home that's perfectly designed for your heart. So before you leave today, choose one action to take. You're going to set up a consult with me. Are you going to reach out to your lender? Make sure you get your pre-approval updated. Start looking and just decide, what do you want? Where do you want it? And let us know. Join us on Instagram or Facebook, on our YouTube channel, Heart Coach Talk or Adelai Brown Real Estate, so that you can let us know what your next steps are in real estate and how we may be able to help you. And remember to check out our website, adelaibrown.com/ Heart Homes Realty, so that you can stay connected to future monthly webinars, so that you can get on our email list and just find out about the other events and programs that we're offering so that you can stay in the know. Because homies don't let homies do real estate alone. So what stood out to you today? As a result of what you've heard, what additional questions do you have? And how can I support your next step? This is my contact information. I would love, love, love to talk with you about making your next move, your best move, and how we can make sure that your heart has the homes that you deserve. My phone number is listed here, 854-900-3977. Email hearthomesland@gmail.com. Or you can connect with me at Linktree / Realty or at AdelaiBrown.com / Realty. So thank you. Remember, your journey matters, your heart matters, your home matters, and your heart matters the most. We will see you at next month's Lunch and Learn. Our topic will be closing. We are at step 8 in the 10-step process. So make sure to follow us for upcoming webinars, resources, buyer tools, and just ways that we can support you through the process. And I thank you guys for being here. I thank you for joining me on this journey. Remember, we get together monthly to do these lunch and learns as an educational and informational resource so that you don't feel like you are in the dark and you're all alone as you are going through the home buying process. Just know that you do not have to do it alone. We are here to support you. So let's stay connected. Let's stay focused. Remember, homies don't let homies do real estate alone. So we are here to support you along the way. I am Adelai Brown, your heart realtor. You have a wonderful afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you next month for step 8 at our Road to Approval Lunch and Learn. And do me a favor. like this video, share, and share with others who you think could benefit from having this information about home ownership and the home buying journey. Okay?